We are live. The radar camera is back up. It was down for about a week. When they put it back up, I was pointing at one of my trees that's left, and a third of the tree snapped off at 2 a.m. So now we got all this tree shit to chainsaw up. So I was out yesterday with the chainsaw and 111 degree heat, cutting up a fucking tree. Welcome. It's Friday. It's hot as hell, and it's time for 4K Skywatch and Podcast Live number 32.
Red alert!
Yeah, it's Friday. Welcome. Happy Friday, everybody. I'm Tom King. This is the 4K Skywatch and Podcast. Last Friday, at this time, I was up in Sedona, Arizona, and had planned on doing a live Skywatch there, and things didn't always go according as planned. I had Murphy's Law kick in, and almost every single piece of equipment went through a malfunction. And I kept thinking Skinwalker Ranch. Every time something breaks, you know that reaction shot they have of Eric going, you know, the who farted look. Had that a lot. And I started thinking, you know what? One thing that never breaks on Skinwalker Ranch is the camera filming everybody. That always works. But anyway, yeah, I have the results. True Seeker was there. He said just record anyway, so that's what I did. I had the Beast with me. The Beast is a custom pan-tilt device that's radio controlled. It has a range of about a quarter of a mile or so that you can be away from it, and you can control it. And I had that up in Sedona, and the goal was just to videotape these helicopters. That was the goal. I wasn't there looking for orbs. I wasn't there to plant my owl camera. I was there because I wanted to know what in the hell is going on with this underground base. What is going on with these helicopters or whatever the hell is going on? Because that's a lot of money. That's if we're looking at 14, 17 helicopters that come out of the ground or whatever, we're talking millions of dollars every night for what? To come out of the ground, move around, they go back down. Well, I was there to figure this out, and figure it out I did. So a lot of times when you're out doing this, you end up coming back with more questions than answers. And this time I came back with more answers than questions and got the receipts. I got the videos. And the videos are hopefully going to help with some of this mystery that's going on up in Sedona, Arizona. It's not going to answer everything, but it is going to answer a few things. So yeah, I had the Beast up there. I had the Beast cycling power. I was plugged into my van's. My van is a 120 volt output, so I was plugged into that, and it was cycling through power, of course, right before it's time to go live. And so I turned the van on, so I'm just going to have to run it. And then I started having cameras go down, which was strange. Everything has batteries on it, so you'll see the Beast here in a bit, but everything has a battery for it, so I don't need 120 volt. I can run off the battery power, but the battery power on the televisions, the P1000, and so on, etc., is going to be about 90 minutes, 2 hours max, and then you have to cycle out batteries. But I come with like 6 batteries per camera. I mean, it's a rigmarole before I go of having this camera and this camera and this camera and this camera there for backup, because if something goes wrong, you got to have different batteries go out, and it's going to be very rare. I'm going to have 6 P1000 batteries die. So anyway, I recorded all that stuff. I looked through it, and I brought it back. The plan is to point the camera at a certain specific spot and leave it, and let it record a good 90 minutes. Then you come back here to the UFO lab and fast forward through that 90 minutes, and then you'll see, are these helicopters? Because you will see, do they move like helicopters or not? That was the plan. And for the most part, I left the cameras alone. There was a couple of times when something exciting happened and I kind of screwed up and moved the cameras a bit. And then when you're watching, we're going to watch it, the fast forward playback, you go, oh shit, it was going good until he moved the camera. So, yeah, it's what's going on. Something is wrong in the UFO lab here. I can only connect one video capture card at a time. So I have one, for instance, this one here runs my camera array. And then I have another one that runs my illegal radar system. But for some reason, I can't bring them both up at the same time, so I'm kind of screwing around with that. No biggie. I'll get that fixed. So there's not too much going on in ufology, a little bit. Tonight we're going to look at the Sedona videos. There was a Skywatcher leak that came up. Look a little bit at that. There's this new 3-eye atlas, whatever the hell that is. It's the Uma friend, comet, meteor, alien mothership, Godzilla turd, whatever the hell is floating, entered our solar system from somebody else's solar system. We'll talk about that and talk about a little bit of UFO news tonight. On the 4K Skywatch and broadcast. Now, I've watched a lot of stuff pops up on my feed. I find people, 21,000 subscribers doing a UFO podcast. I'm like, who is this guy? I never heard of him before. And it's like they're doing a podcast of somebody else's podcast, or they're doing research of another man's research. No research themselves. And I'm just thinking, how the hell did you get all these subscribers if you're just doing, it's like somebody watching somebody TV. What the fuck? It's weird. And I got a couple thousand subscribers. If you like this type of stuff, you like real research, you like underground stuff, you like people go out the fucking house and do stuff, you subscribe to this channel because this channel gets shit done. So there's something kind of strange going on with the, there's a numbering system on here that showed up. That's kind of interesting. Or something like that. Thanks, Truth Seeker, for hanging out. You're number one here. Hey, Marcus. Good to see you, cheeky bastard. What's up? Let's get straight into this goddamn video. All right. All right. Let's get into the media here. So I'm going to the beloved Sedona area, and I found this place. This is a rest stop that you can stop at, pay $5 if you want to park, and it has horse trails and biking trails. Now this might be a location I go back to and put my owl camera up. Now, while I was in Sedona, I was skywatching right in city limits, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm getting 5G on this phone, and I had two iPhones, a 14 and a 15. So I'm using their system to broadcast by using a hotspot, and it just bottomed out and I went to LTE 1 bar, so it's kind of screwed. So I was thinking, well, how in the hell am I going to get this owl camera to work if I put it in the middle of BFE? It needs a cellular signal to send the videos back. Now, it will operate on its own. It's a dome camera, trail camera, 4K. So whatever it sees, it will record, and it will work about 7 days off solar power. What you need the 4G for is to contact it, suck the videos off that I did collect, and send them home. So kind of up in the air with that. I want to deploy it, but it's just so hot. I don't want to be a stupid hiker that goes out when it's 115 and then has to get on the phone and call for the helicopter to come get him. So it's going to be 118 here next week. It's just brutal here. So yeah, here's a little bit of going there and setting up the beast. So I have this 4K camera in my van that records front and back and whatnot. And I have this in case a UAP happens to show up. And one did. That's what one did one time when I didn't have a dash camera when I was at 29 Palms coming back from California. And I wanted something to record at all times. And it's pretty cool. If you screw up and get in an accident, you will have some proof of this. And here's here's what the rest stop area stopped and did a little bathroom break, tape some stuff. So yeah, my camera right there looks all right. Tonight's Skywatch should be live, hopefully. A lot like fun. This is the only helicopter I saw, by the way. So that was the only chopper I saw come by when I was doing setup, and I was there 3 hours early, which didn't seem like enough time. Somehow I got this heavy beast, out of the back of the van without dropping the damn thing with all the cameras on it. Beautiful place to skywatch. So this is kind of how I set up. I bring my own table. And I bring a couple of laptops, one to broadcast on, and other different cameras here. So there's the pan and tilt system over there on the left. It's bolted to this white piece of particle board. The pan and tilt system I got from Servo City for about $600 or $700, and then I heavily modified it so to put the payload on there. So I have on there. Up at the top on the left is a custom thermal, or not thermal, it's a night vision device with a camera behind it. Over to the left on the top platform is the Nikon P1000. Below that is a Panasonic GH5S with a 600 millimeter zoom lens. And to the left of that is a 3D camera that I used. Now, turns out I recorded with everything, but the only thing I ended up using was the night vision from that particular set. The 3D camera, some of the television screens got in the way. The Nikon P1000, when I was zooming in, it didn't have enough light because I mean there's no moon. It's pitch black there. So the GH5S, I didn't even look at that results at all. So yeah, here I have camera I'm going to broadcast from. These are the 3 little TVs you see that fold out. These have HDMI input and HDMI output. So what happens is the cameras on the Beast, the pan and tilt, move around, and everybody can see what they're seeing on these little TVs. And then from there, I can output from the TV into these video capture cards on the table to broadcast to you. So that's a little how that is set up. Over on the tripod here, to the left, is a Dahua thermal camera, dual optic. So that is pointed at this mountain ridge. And then behind that is, on this new tripod I got, a decent tripod for about 150 bucks. I needed a 4th one. Sedona optics. And this tripod goes up to like 8 feet. Jesus Christ, it's high. It's really high. See, I'm 6'2", so I can stand and finally look through the Luna optics without having to crouch over. So I pretty much just set this up, let it rip, collect the stuff, go home, and it's funny, Sedona shuts down on a Friday night. I mean, there's nothing open at 10:30. I mean, hardly any gas stations. There's what was surprising is Sedona does not have a lot of places to eat. I thought they would have really, really good food like we have in Phoenix. No. They got no Burger Kings, no KFCs. I'm talking good quality fucking food here, you know. No Arby's or any of that shit. One McDonald's. And then the rest of the stuff they have there are bar and grills. I don't drink, so these places weren't open. I ate at one last time I was there. Food's pretty expensive, but I'm sorry, they have beautiful views, but piss poor food in Sedona. They really, really need to open up like a. Why don't they have a UFO saucer-shaped restaurant there, or like that Tesla charging type station they opened up? But hey, Dan, how you doing? Can't remember if I've seen you around, but yeah, they need some better food. So I went all the way home without a place to go to the bathroom, a place to drink, or I need a lighter for some other purposes. Couldn't find a lighter. So let's go. Let's see. We're going to start with the night vision stuff here, and the night vision stuff. What's going to go on is I'm going to show you all the footage. 90 minutes with the footage. It's going to happen in about 2.5 minutes. So it's going to scroll through really fast. There's not going to be audio for this. There's a little bit of hair on the lens. This is eyepiece projection, so my camera is looking at the output of the night vision. So this is the sun going down. And you can see the clouds are moving by pretty fast. And as the sun goes down, you're going to see all hell break loose with just stuff flying everywhere. Now, if there are helicopters coming out of these mountains and there's a secret base in this direction, where this is pointing towards Secret Mountain, we should see them. So I'm not interested in really orbs or anything like that. What I'm interested in is there is I shifted the camera for a second when a plane came at us. But you can see the stars. The stars are going down. You could see an aircraft moving around and flashing, but none of them move like helicopters. Everything's moving in a fixed wing orientation. So it all looks somewhat pedestrian, you know, pretty normal. You see a lot of stars with this, especially as the sun keeps going more down and down around the other side of Earth. A lot of stars. There's a lot of satellites here too, and I mean a lot. It gets to the point where almost hard to tell the satellites from some of the aircraft. And there's about the end where I wanted to point up at some stars and just see whatever the 3 trillion of those stars. So that was the night vision video. No helicopters. So there were no helicopters there. Even though when you look at it, and I looked at the situation through the Luna optics, it was the exact same that I saw when I was there with Melinda Leslie last month. And we were looking at the same thing, that over the ridgeline was tons and tons of aircraft activity. So we were told that what we're looking at here are helicopters. And I get it when you're looking through a device and you're looking around and you see all this flashing and you're like, what is this stuff? It doesn't show up on flight radar. And she's saying that these mountains that we're looking at, that you can just measure with any Google Maps or measuring tools, about 5 to 7 miles away. Now, the thermal, it didn't see much, but what it didn't see revealed a lot. So let me bring up the next one here. Is going to be the thermal, and this is going to be the same thing. It's going to be the thermal, but we're going to look at all of the thermal real quick. So we're going to go through 90 minutes worth of thermal in about 2 minutes. And the thermal don't lie. So here's the same area that the night vision was pointed towards. And you really can't, you really can't see the sun going down with this too much. And one thing about the thermal is you can't see stars and you can't see satellites because they're too high up. Now, what I do know about this thermal is it has a limitation range where it bugs out. And that range here, there's some people there in the background, is approximately 35,000 feet or so. Because when I'm using, I have 3 of these on my house on a panel tilt. And when I'm watching these will see aircraft at about 30,000 feet or so. Because you'll just see this contrail of heat and you'll just see this white dot on hot white. So I can look at flight radar, identify that and go, okay, that's about 30,000 feet. What it can't see is about 40,000 feet. That's the limit. That's when everything clocks out. So from about 5 to 6 miles away is the limitation of a Dahua thermal camera. And these are all over the skywatching community at this point. A lot of people have these with UFODAP, so it's a testable thing. You can test that these cameras cannot see a 200-foot aircraft with the heat coming out 7 miles away. Now, if they could see farther, the object would have to be larger and hotter. But it might be so hot, it's out of range. Now, take, for instance, the sun. The sun is more than 7 miles away, and it will see that because hotter, bigger. So, but for this purpose, for helicopter purpose, for aircraft purpose, the limitation is about 35,000 feet. So let's go back to this media. So what that tells me is that if they're helicopters or airplanes, they must be within 7 miles of this or we can't see them at all. So this is a measuring device. This will tell us, there was a deer that stopped in and popped to the left down there. So what this tells us is the stuff we're going to see in the Luna optics in a minute. Luna optics sees everything. So this tells us what we're going to see in the Luna optics was farther away than 7 miles. Now, there's a couple there. I I wasn't watching this until I watched the playback, but I don't know what that woman is doing to that man right now. Or maybe she's, I'm thinking she's on her phone and nothing dirty is happening. And these people really, they can't see what I'm doing aside from the television sets. So we can't see anything. We can't see any real, anything moving around. Those satellites, uh, nothing. So that tells us that all the stuff that we see in the next video was out of range. It was farther away than 7 miles. That was a really good tool because I don't have a laser rangefinder that could read 20 miles and nobody does. So let's go into now the Luna Optics video. And as this goes on, all hell breaks loose. Well, let's make sure we got this queued up right. So this is a time lapse of the sun going down until it wasn't.
Holy shit. That's what I'm talking about.
So what you see here is look at all those flashing. This is just in one image. If I pan around, you will see this flashing all over the place. This is from the Luna Optics device. And it doesn't matter which Luna Optics you buy, all of them are really good.
What is all this stuff? I see 1, 2, 3, 4.
So you look at this, and you can't really tell what's what. If you're not using a tripod, and you're just using a Gen 3 device, you're going to see just a smorgasbord of optics.
Fortunately, I couldn't do a live broadcast, but I'll make the best of it. That's all I can do. Alright, time to look around. Using this new tripod, this thing goes like 9 feet tall. Let's see, so we got one. guy there. Got two objects, three of them over here, so I got at least four. Let's keep moving around. That's 5, 6. We got at least 6 or 7 aircraft within a 30 or 40 degree arc. Now some of the stuff could be, what is all this stuff? I don't know what this stuff is. It's man-made. It's out of thermal range because my thermal isn't picking this up. So that means whatever we're seeing is just over 7 miles in the distance. So that's good to know at least thermal can give some type of range out of this stuff. Curious what that orangish thing is over, just over the ridge line. Let's see if that moves. I don't see any flashing out of it. I think that's like an orb, or it's not a satellite. Okay, that thing disappeared, whatever that orb thing was. We got a real bright one over there. A blue orb? What the hell do we have here? Cycling or some stuff. That's really bright. Turn the night vision on it. No flashing lights on it. Zoomed in at 24 power. It's got to be a plane. Yeah, I'm starting to see some. Alright, starting to see some airplane lights on it. to the other shit. Fucking operations on. Whose stuff is that shit? I hate to say this, but I need a psionics. This is a fuck ton of activity for. There's nothing over this area I'm looking at. There shouldn't be any of this stuff. This is what I came to do, is to study all this weird shit. You got a double there. Probably a couple satellites, I guess. This is supposedly where this base is. And there's stuff that goes in and out. I don't know. It is weird. Kind of watching that one in between, that little ridge. Okay, there's something coming right up. See if that's a satellite or not. It's like something hovering in that valley. Kind of. Right, that thing that went behind those clouds. Damn it. Oops. thermal doesn't pick this stuff up, so that tells me that this is beyond 7 miles away. I wanted to just point cameras and leave them all night or for 2 hours in each grid location, but I've only got like 2 good cameras here. You can even see through all this darkness. I don't know what all that would be on the ADSB. That's a lot of goddamn aircraft. Where are they going? Like Kingman, all those planes? There's no way those planes are going to Las Vegas. We can't see that damn far. Like it's a state and a half. It's like a state away or something. Alright, I'm going to start rolling this stuff up.
All right, now here's a playback of that at high speed. And at high speed, this is going to explain a lot of what we just saw. See, this is why I didn't want to move the camera. So it would mess up the playback of the high speed. But I think you guys get the idea. So wow, that's a lot of stuff to look at. So if you're sitting there with just a device, and keep in mind, none of that's visible with the naked eye. None of it. You need tools to see it. So when you're sitting there looking like through any device with no tripod, and you start scanning around the horizon, and you see dozens and dozens of these flashing lights that you can't see with the naked eye. Then you see what's going on is slowly the stars are going down, but there's a lot of satellites going up from different directions, and then we have a lot of the aircraft. So we have satellites that are man-made, we have aircraft that are man-made, and we have other things you just can't tell. That's mesmerizing if you don't have the tools to record it properly. That's why when I went up there the first time and looked at it through this and through Leslie's third gen night vision device, and you're hearing, okay, these are helicopters out in the distance. I can categorically say there are no helicopters there, none. You can see all the high-speed footage when it's moving, that none of these objects hover, none of them. They all go from point A to point B. That pretty much stands out. That doesn't really even need to be said. So what I think is going on here is a misidentification of aircraft as helicopters. The thermal camera shows that these helicopters were farther away than 35,000 feet. At 7 miles, we see objects 7 miles overhead, going from point A to point B. When they're 8, 9 miles, they're out of range of the thermal. So the thermal was a good measuring device to say they're at least X far away. They're at least 8 miles away. So I can look that up on flight radar and rule out any aircraft that's closer than that because they did not pick up on thermal. Some of this stuff picked up a bit on the green night vision device. That's a device that I got out of a tank, which has a chained tube. So it's interesting. They have a Gen 1 night vision device from like the 50s. Behind it is another one, and behind it is another one. So it's weird. It's like the night vision feeds it from 1 into 2 into 3. And then from there, the camera sees it. And it gets somewhere between level 2.5 generation, but not quite level 3 out of that device. And it makes this high-pitched there's a whining sound out of that device, so I had to edit that out with artificial intelligence sound tools. So yeah, what I think is going on here, and this might piss some people off, but I piss people off because you can't please everybody. This is an optical illusion going on of a misidentification of man-made aircraft. And when you have this stuff locked down on a tripod, you can clearly see there are no helicopters. I don't believe that there's helicopters coming out of the ground. So I think that is, I can see how that came, how they came to that point. But with the tools I have, there's no helicopters coming out of the ground. You just saw what happened last Friday night. Now, it's hard to see in real time what's going on. You have to wait, play it back, and speed it up. The Brown technique, I call it. And then you can see what the hell is going on. Is there a base there? I don't know. This doesn't rule it in or rule it out. What this says, though, is these things that are going on every night are not helicopters. They're not coming out of Secret Mountain. I looked this area up. The only area that could support helicopters in the area is Prescott Airport. And Prescott Airport is basically has some Cessnas that go up and train so that pilots can burn up hours and work towards their commercial pilot's license. Helicopters are not coming from Prescott. The other area is Camp Navajo, which is a U.S. Army training base. Now, they do have a landing pad, which is just concrete, for a couple of helicopters, but they do not have the fuel, the ground support, or anything else, the mechanics, all that stuff that would take to support a small or medium-sized Air Force that just flies willy-nilly. I mean, this would be, with Doge and all this other stuff going around, this would be a huge expenditure for what? And if you're flying out of a secret base, why the hell do you have your navigation lights on to show everybody, here we are, we're coming out of this rock? Because when we go down to Barry Goldwater, another area in Arizona, they fly dark. They fly with the lights off completely doing their training. And the only way you're going to see them is with thermal, because thermal's going to see the heat. So I wish there was more to report on this, that this is a base, and then there's a part 3 coming where I move to a closer position, because I do ground research. I get out of here and I take the best gear money can buy, and I go after these mysteries. So I think we have just a general misunderstanding of what's going on there. Now, there's still a lot of stuff that goes on in Sedona, so don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Sedona's flatlined and it's dead. There's activity going on there, but there's not helicopters coming out of those ground. Because if there was, we would have just watched it. What do you guys think? That's some more stuff coming up here, but that's my first-hand report of being on the ground at Sedona last Friday, and we just watched the Sedona videos of that. Let's see what the experts here in the audience, because I got some of the best skywatchers in the world that follow this show. Yeah, it's mesmerizing. There's a lot of this stuff, and we'll get a bit more into theory of that. Yeah, I don't know. If there were UFOs mixed in there, there's no way to separate them out. This is at least a good advertisement for Luna Optics. It does one hell of a job. And these binoculars you can get for around $800. This one has the laser rangefinder in it. You don't really need that, because UFOs are not going to get close enough for you to laser rangefinder on them, right? The Psionics Pro is about the same thing, about $1,000. Either one of these is a great purchase for your collection. I would like to, I never thought I'd say these words, but I'd like to get a Psionics. I don't want to pay for it, though. But the difference is Psionics films in 720p, and these film in 4K. 2K. This is a 2K one. I think the newer ones do 4K. So they're great pieces of equipment to add to your skywatching collection, even if you don't have a Sedona or a totally black sky. Wherever you are on planet Earth, these will assist you in your skywatching. Oh, thank you so much for that super chat. That all goes into this very expensive project I'm doing. I'm going to be bringing you probably video in the near future from Area 51, so that'll help put some gas in the tank. And also, you guys watching and interacting with me just keeps me going, okay, I live in a UFO hotspot. It's hot as hell here. I have FU money to spend on some of this stuff. I've been doing this over 30 years now. I didn't start yesterday, and I didn't fall off the turnip truck. And I don't believe everything that comes along. I'm skeptical. The more you get into this, the more skeptical you should be. But also, the more you go into this, the more you should become a believer that UFOs are real, because you will eventually see them or get enough evidence collected that there's something to all this. There really is. I don't know what's all going down in Sedona. I probably will do more trips up there. It's a great area to hang out. Great vibe. Shitty food. No Burger King, no Arby's. But maybe go up there and open up a flying saucer Arby's. And I'm just bullshit. Arby's sucks. Burger King is superior, right? I could have named my kid Burger. I could have a son named Burger King, right? Would that be a cool name, or would he get his ass kicked by McDonald's? Some kid named McDonald's, and then they could name, like we have a Skywatcher here named Chris Donald. So if he had a son, he could call him Ronald, and it'd be Ronald Donald, right? And then he could go up against my kid I didn't have, Burger King. So thank you for that super chat. That is very much appreciated. So it might piss Melinda Leslie off, but she's a wonderful woman. She's a great skywatcher. She just doesn't have all this camera equipment, right? She goes out nightly with $30,000 worth of equipment. And people give her $90 or so, go out Skywatcher, she hands you a $4,000 piece of hardware and hopes you don't run off with it, you know. I mean, we need more Melinda Leslies in the UFO community. We need more females. Just more people on the ground doing research. This is a... I'll show you that spot. This is a city park. It's free to go to. I don't have the GPS position handy, but I will bring it up here on a map. But yeah, go up to Sedona, you'll see this any direction, up, down, left, right, beautiful area. That helicopter flying over, I wonder if that was Dan flying over in his helicopter. Yeah, thanks, Dan. But yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing with Area 51. I'm young enough where I can still hike Tikaboo Peak and bring up some gear. I'm just wondering how many nights I would go. Like if I got to go there for one night or just stay there. And I don't want to go to where they have a surveillance camera. So if you go up to Tikaboo Peak, there's what I'd like to have. There's a dome camera up there with solar power and radio communications back to the base. So if they see anybody up there, they probably have a thermal camera, they see you up there, they ain't doing shit. So don't go up to Tikaboo Peak if you want to skywatch. Go over to the fucking side. Go over to some area where they're not watching. And then there's that Rachel. They'll probably put me under surveillance again. What I heard is if you go from late Bill Hamilton, if you go to Area 51, those camo dudes are looking for your license plate number. That's what they're looking at you for binoculars. They know you ain't going to do nothing. They want your license plate number. Then it goes into a computer system in the base. So-and-so was here. And they could instantly look up that license plate number and find out who the hell you are. So throw mud. If you go to Area 51, throw some mud on your license plate while you're there. Wash it off when you leave. Keeps you anonymous, right? They don't have camera systems good enough to get facial recognition from a distance. Then what happens is if you go back again and they get your license plate a second time and you're in there twice, then they go, hey, what the hell kind of American is this? He's a regular. They put the FBI then taps your phone for 6 months and they see what kind of American you are. Remember that movie Civil War? And they said, we're Americans. And then the guy with the red glasses go, what kind of Americans? That is the type of thing Area 51 does to the people that go look at their base. What kind of American are you? Not patriotic if you're going to come here looking and trying to discover all of our shit. But to me, I just like the fun, the mystery to go out and see if you can turn over some rocks, get some information to figure this stuff out. Oh, thank you. Yes, I get off my ass and spend a fortune on this stuff. I often wonder what I could do with the money. But you know what? If I didn't spend it on this, it'd just be on some crap, some fun. Whatever. Yeah, there's a lot of people. There's other stuff I watch where people do a research of other people's research, or they do a podcast about what Knapp and Corbell did in their podcast. Do your own stuff. Make it original. Whatever you do, like Science Bob says, you cannot be as good as somebody you look up to, but you could be a colleague of that person. All of us here aren't going to be on Skinwalker Ranch. We're not going to be Travis Taylor, but we could be a colleague like Travis Taylor. We could do things like that in our location and share the information. Just be the best you can be with what you have and what you are. So yeah, Area 51 is on the horizon. I think I've tackled what I set out to do with this because I wasn't here to figure out what these orbs are. I wanted to know what those helicopters are over the horizon. And there's no helicopters there, as far as I'm concerned. Now, prove me wrong. If there's video evidence of dozens of helicopters, I would like to see it. And I don't want to see just moving around. I want to see some tripod footage. Do what I did. Film it, speed it up. This is... I don't think they sell this one anymore. I can't even remember the model number, but they're all just like this, except better. I think this is a 2K one. The thing I don't like are these mud flaps, right? They got these fucking mud flaps on here, and eventually it'll break off. So this one here, this is the laser rangefinder. I don't use it very often because, like, what are you going to use it for? This other one here, when you use it in the daytime, you need this up because otherwise color doesn't work right. So you have that up. But when you flip into your other modes, you take it down. So it's kind of dumb. All these cameras, the unfortunate thing is they use these CR123 batteries. These batteries cost $2 to $3 a piece. So if you're going out, you're going to spend $10 on batteries in a night on the Skywatch, or you're going to plug it into a USB-C device. That's what I did. So that way you don't have to worry about battery drainage. But these are hell good. And I don't get my shit free. I pay for my stuff. So these are great. I have not recorded a UFO yet with these, but I will. I have recorded a UFO with just about every single piece of equipment that I've ever owned. It's just a matter of time. Yes, easily do Area 51 except hike in Tikaboo Peak. I don't think I'd have a problem with that. I think the only problem I'd have is getting in there because that's four-wheel drive territory. And a Dodge Caravan, I don't think I'd drive that in there. When I do stuff like that, I rent a car so I can destroy someone else's car and not my own. But, Sedona, I take my van. I wish I could bring my kitty with. Yeah, there's lots of YouTubers. Martin Willis was at Contact in the Desert, and he was talking to people. He just put out one with Caroline Corey, and he was on Spaced Out Radio the other night. Great interview. He was at Contact in the Desert, and somebody said, "I'm a podcaster too," and another person said, "I'm a podcaster." And then Martin asked, "Is anyone here not a podcaster?" So they were probably there looking for people to interview to put on their podcast, but at least they went to Contact in the Desert and got out their house. A lot of people just don't leave their house, and it's almost a requirement. This isn't Phoenix University Online College, man. This isn't UFO College Online. You got to get out of your house sometimes. Or a motorcycle. I don't have a motorcycle. I love motorcycles. I'd love to have one, but you get killed driving one around in this city. So let's look at Flight Radar and move on a bit. Okay, so let's look here. So this is Flight Radar. It doesn't look too great. The yellows aren't coming in. I think I filtered this. The deal I was doing is, if you watch previous episodes, I have my own radar. And what I was going to do is take the radar and then take Flight Radar 24 and superimpose it on top of my radar screen. And then you get the rings, you size it up, and you kind of eyeball it, because you use one and then you kind of get the other one to adjust it. So Flight Radar 24 will show me exactly where the airplanes are. And then on my radar system, I have an anti-collision alert system that detects objects coming towards you and objects going away. And the idea is to line up those objects from the radar to the planes from Flight Radar and then go, these are where the aircraft are supposed to be, and see if that works. I haven't done it yet. I've just got too many other things to do. But then to say, well, if that works and we can detect planes with boat radar, what are the other objects that are not there? But the government won't give me permission to use it. So have to do things differently then. Okay, so let's do a tutorial on Flight Radar 24. I have the silver version. I think it costs $9 a year. So we're going to go up to Sedona. So I drove up here, and we go over. Let's see here. Prescott Valley. Valley. Here we go, Sedona. So I went in this way. I came up over here, and I parked somewhere around here, and I'm looking this way. This is the direction. These are the mountains that you see in the distance. Okay, So let's now go do playback. If you pay for flight radar, you can do playback. So you hit the playback button. It's in UTC, so we go back to last Friday, 25th, and then I believe it's about 4 a.m. is going to be UTC, and we go playback. So here is what we're looking at. So I'm here and I'm looking at these. So this is what showed up on my camera. This showed up on my camera. This showed up on my camera. This flew towards me. And if we increase the speed, this is what is showing up as those aircraft. This is what people think are helicopters, and they're these objects up here. So it's an optical illusion of seeing all these aircraft, and you can see these aircraft are slowly descending. And let's see, just where are they going to? So we have a Boeing 737 Max. Oh God, one of those things that blows up randomly, and it's going to land at 7 or 11. And some of these are probably, like I thought, going to Las Vegas. So what we're looking at, is a lot of those aircraft that are kind of going down a downward slope, or doing a slow descent, and they're heading into Las Vegas. That far away, that far. So I'm looking at aircraft that are easily 20 miles out, easy. And then those satellites, what are they up, 20, 30, 40 miles, and that Luna Optics is picking them up right over the horizon, So you should be then able, with this theory, you should be able to go anywhere where there's no light pollution and replicate what I filmed. You should be able to see the stars going down. You should be able to see all kinds of Starlinks coming up, and you should be able to see localized aircraft flying in that UFO soup. And it's not really UFOs. It's an optical illusion of things we can't understand, that when you start separating it out, you go, okay, lots going on now. If a UFO were to sneak in there, how would you know? How would you even know? You can't tell. It's a mix, man. It's a mix. So let me bring up here Google Maps, and I'll show you where you need to go. All right, sec here. I gotta make sure this damn thing doesn't show my address. You know how that is. All right, so here we are, and we want to go up to Sedona here. Where are Buns Park? All right, right over Sedona. All right, so right here. So let me show you guys. This is where I did the Skywatch. So this is the city of Sedona here, and that's the city. So over here on the west side, there's a park, and just remember it's the Yavapai College Sedona Center. All right. So go ahead and remember that. You come up here down this road, and hell, that almost looks like my van there. And then you come here, and they have all this parking area here. So you can pull over and park. You no longer can park where these cars are. They put a bunch of rocks up, so you can kind of park around this road here. So that's the sky. Melinda goes up here with her people too. So that's where you're going to want to do your Skywatch for free. So this is what you just saw. So there's that ridge line that you saw the outline of, right? So there's no helicopters coming out of here. Sorry. I wish there was, but man, I'm not here to peddle bullshit. That's where you need to go, man. That's where you need to go. Oh, wait. Thanks for becoming a supporter, new member. Cool. You can join this podcast, or you can join this channel. It's like $3 a month. You get extra videos. You get behind the scenes. I posted the video about 5 days ago of what you just watched. There's other stuff that I posted there too. A lot of 4K stuff that I got ripped off so bad that I see my stuff on television and I go, they took that off my channel. I should have watermarked it. Then they have to come to me to get rid of the watermark. Well, anyway, it is what it is. Thanks for coming to support her. Yeah, Sedona's just lovely. When I left here, it was 111. And when I got to Sedona, it was in the 90s. And then it dropped down to about 80. So it does cool down there. It does cool down there. So it is about 13 degrees cooler than the Phoenix hell that we're living in. And it's going to be like 115 here next week. Let's move on to the next item here. There was a leak from the Skywatcher group. Skywatcher has been very silent. They said their third video coming out is on psionics. Oh God, let me run this. Psionics. All right. Yeah, I don't use Skywatcher pronouns. I don't. The Skywatcher came in, and they don't use the words that we use. They came in UFO super woke. They have new terminology. They call things a tetra. What the fuck is a tetra, right? Or they got this whole chart of shit they call balloons something else, right? I don't do that. I'm just now, used to saying UAP, but I'm not coming in and using their pronouns. That's a bunch of shit. Now there's a guy. There's a guy in Twitter calls himself Pixel Pro. He's new to the circus, right? He's jumping on coattails of everybody because he doesn't have his own identity yet. I don't think he knows who the hell he is and where he fits in ufology yet. So he's just jumping in. Oh, this is class 1 tetra of a blurry object. We don't even know if it's a UAP or cardboard flipping in the sky, right? So I'm not using their pronouns. Now, what if I have my own and I start saying, well, this is an asterisk 7. Or this one over here is a plethora 3, whatever. Just start making up shit and expect you guys to start using my fucking UFO pronouns? No. Jake and his crew are brand new to the UFO scene. They came out with this story of recovering eggs and octagon-shaped craft. They admitted they were the bad guys that were watching Stephen Greer and probably other speakers' audience looking for people to turn into the FBI so they could flip their life upside down and put them in prison. These are bad people. And now they're claiming, well, I'll take off the black hat, put on the white hat. I'm a good guy now. No, you're not. You gotta sow your oats in this field. You don't just come out and say I'm a good guy. They're mercenaries, right? And they're apparently working for the CIA. If you're a billionaire, they'll tell you all about dog whistles and shit. But if you're the poors like us, nope, classified. So they're not, I don't know. I welcome more Skywatchers, but I don't know what their agenda is. What the hell are they doing here? I'm a man of the people. I'm here to show you guys what the hell's going on. You can Skywatch through me. I show you the equipment I use. You guys see the videos in a timely fashion. Those people, their videos leak. So we don't need more of that, right? We don't need former crash retrieval people that are now the good guys, because what are they here for? That money, man. They're not doing this out of the goodness of their heart. They're doing this for somebody else, for other purposes. And then they were also talking about forcing one of these down. Who in the fuck are you to kill NHI, aliens, or whatever from another planet, another dimension, another reality? Hey, welcome to our world. Boom, you're dead. Now everybody go gather their shit. Now that's an asshole in my book. I don't want these type people, Skywatcher. I don't want people who murder NHI to start picking up cameras and saying, I'm the good guy, come over here. Now, you can take a hike and go back to the rock you came from, as far as I'm concerned. We don't need that shit. They come up with their own UFO pronouns. They come here saying, we're going to murder some NHI. we're going to get in what? Some intergalactic war or something with some species we barely know anything about, and the first thing we... It's fucked up. Clouds here. What stands out to me, of course, is some March 13th looking stuff. We have 4 objects there and 2 off to the side. So are these birds? They're filming it looks like white hot. If they're filming in hot black and these are... If they're filming in hot black and we're seeing this, that means these things are goddamn cold. So this was just one of... It looks like they have 3 objects. They're holding a pretty tight formation if they're birds. But I don't know. Now, there's a bit of a zoom on this. And this was the clip, the only one I found interesting. Now, here's a homework assignment. All right. So we take this object here. Researcher that does, his name escapes me, but he did geometric research the March 13th video I shot. So if you're new to this channel, I'm one of the camera people that shot one of the March 13th videos at 10. And I had these 4 objects that were in a line, and then these other 2 off to the side. And if you look at the Skywatcher video, you see kind of the same thing. So I had this brilliant math guy get a hold of me about a year ago. He did geometric analysis of this. So what he did was pretty simple. He took my video, he printed it out on a sheet of paper, and then he took a compass and he centered it over one of the lights, and he used the other part on the next light to it. He drew a circle. And then he did that around all 4 of them. And he found that they intersect. And he called it some golden rule or something in math that I don't know about. Real big math nerd. And I'm like, that's real interesting. And they're spaced apart perfectly. But bro, they're flares. And it's like, dude, that can't be. That can't be. It's so funny dealing with people. Some people like insist they're UFOs and some people insist they're flares. Whatever you want to say. So you could do it with this. You could take this. You could blow this up, scale it up, print this out on a piece of paper, and then take a compass and do circles around each of them and see are they the exact distance apart. That's a part of doing geometry on UFOs is an interesting thing because we don't have a lot of videos that have formations to do this with, and then type formation. So I pointed out a number of these videos, the Russian Phoenix Lights video, this video, the one Charnel C shot in 2021 of these type of lights. So this is something to do, that type of study of. Is this holding a formation? Now, I don't know what pronouns they assign this. It's just interesting, but I would say they leaked the video themselves or something. I mean, I don't leak videos. Who's going to leak a video? It's going to be me. If I got 10 people working for me, I'm pretty sure I would know who leaked the video. I think they just leaked it themselves. I mean, movies do this sometimes. They'll leak a video to get people talking about it. Good luck. Good luck to these guys. They do have good equipment. I will say that. And they are getting stuff. But they are not transparent at all. Nada. Nada. They need to be more like the Tedesco brothers. You know, be open with what they're doing. Let some people in. I've got used to saying UAP, and for a few reasons. A lot of this stuff is not classic UFOs. We were brought up, growing up, looking at UFOs as flying saucers, as UFOs, as an object that is a physical object that's nuts and bolts, that is intelligence inside moving the object. As time went on, I think we've learned that, or at least for me, that discs like the gimbal are extremely rare. What's more likely what we're going to run into are these bugospheres, these silver spheres, balls of light, which are energy, just physical plasma. So that fits more under aerial phenomenon versus flying UFO type thing. So it's taken a while. You can't say UFO for 30 years and then undo that immediately. Yeah. I don't know if they're controlling the narrative, but they're coming in with their own words. And if you're just gonna, you can't show up as a new kid on the block and start rearranging the furniture. You gotta pay your dues here. I mean, nobody trusts them. Nobody trusts them except for the people paying for them. So I don't know. It all looks like a CIA operation to me. I mean, what's their motive? Why are they doing this? I'm doing this to figure this out. But them, I mean, if you've already hauled in a UFO and dropped it off, and they worked for Lockheed, according to Danny Sheehan, then you already know a lot of stuff. What they should do is start naming names, telling who they worked for, who's their employer's name, where they are on LinkedIn, where they dropped off the eggs and the octagon. Start there, all right? You don't start with this. Go back to the original stuff and let's get this straightened out. Otherwise, I ain't gonna believe when they come up with this stuff and it's like, you dropped off apparently eggs and octagons and they were called in and summoned or whatever. I see this not working out for these guys. I've been in this for a long time. I see them come and go. I see people get all excited. They get burnt out and they get pissed because they can't get the answers fast enough. They say, fuck it and quit. And they sour grapes. Jeremy McGowan is one of them. This guy was in UAPX. I heard nothing but not good things about this guy. He's difficult to work with. He's a snitch. Can't keep his mouth shut. He tries to steal your equipment. So if you were to loan that man any gear, you will not get that gear back. He was eventually kicked out of UAPX because he was dragging their reputation down. And he didn't do anything. So what does he do now? He sour grapes. He pisses and moans on Twitter and poo-poos on everybody. He tried to be in the good guys club. He wasn't a cool kid, got kicked out. So he's just like, well, then I'll just rip you guys apart. So probably the Jake people will go that route. That's what I'm predicting. I don't see this going good for them. They said that they're going to be able to get one of these things by the end of this year. And the clock is ticking. And I just don't see that going down. Not at all. So that's Skywatcher leak. And then we have, what in the hell is going on with NASA and this 3 Atlas thing? Now, about 6 months ago or so, Jeremy Corbell, Lockerfield, whatever year, Corbell, he was on a TMZ 3-part special, and he said that there is a lie that we're going to be told that there's a UFO slowly making its way towards Earth. And he said, it's 100% fucking lie, right? So here we are with this Atlas, whatever. What he said came true. So you got to give this guy that credit. You got to. He nailed it. Now, a lot of questions. Like, at first I was thinking, how does a UFO slowly get here? If they came from another star system, they're not moving slow. They're moving very, very fast. So how is it moving so slow we could actually see them with our ground-based satellite systems and telescopes? How did Jeremy know about this? Who told him? How did he know about this before Avi Loeb and his crew were able to detect it? So I'm thinking, does the intelligence community have their own deep space telescopes that we don't know about, that are up there flying around in orbit looking for the enemy from outer space? It must, because they found out this before Avi Loeb and all these scientists did. Or did they? Because remember, the military told Avi, We detected something that came in, a meteor, and it crashed, and it came from interstellar space. And then Avi went and he got that little balls off the ocean floor. The military knew about that, and Avi did. So there is two instances. I'm thinking that the military knows way, way more than our Harvard astronomers and astrophysicists do. How in the fuck did they know that? Well, our money, for one, their taxpayer money. But then they got people who are their own Avi Loeb that are working for the military in that capacity and keeping it classified on the down low until they leak it to Jeremy Corbell or something like that. That's very interesting. Why were they doing that? Why? Why did they take our money and they're looking in deep space and they could see stuff beyond our best astronomers can? Because there's probably a threat. Because they're looking for something. Maybe they're watching. Maybe they know exactly where some of these aliens, and I'm still calling them aliens. They're notice the ship from UFO to UAP to aliens to NHI. I think that they would know where these aliens coming to and from, and they're trying to watch that particular star system. Are you sending Independence Day-sized objects towards us? Because we want to know in advance. Something like that's going on. Something scary's going on in the background that's classified. The government, they play dumb. They play these, well, we got to have these hearings. We got to get David Grush in the skiff. You don't need any more whistleblowers. You don't need skiffs. You got everything you need from Roswell. You got everything you need from the Kingman UFO giveaway. We had the multiple crashes in New Mexico. We have crashes in Mexico where they went and took objects from Mexico, retrieved them, took them back. We have that Virginia case of those red-eyed aliens from Brazil. They took those too. A CIA goes into any country they want and just grabs that shit. It says national security and takes it. Probably gives them a few $100 to forget about it and they're gone. We don't need a skiff. We don't need Grush. We don't need any more of this stuff. That's the Congress playing dumb. They already have everything they need. So yeah, we have this Atlas 3 whatever type of thing. I think in about a month or two it might be coming closer to Earth. Good. At least it'll have awareness. And then we have that movie Don't Look Up, which ties right into this type of thing. And if this thing changes trajectory, then we're going to know it's not just meteor Godzilla poop flying around. It's something different. But we can expect the government to lie about this and say, oh yeah, this is just regular stuff. It's never regular when something from interstellar space comes into our solar system. That really needs to be looked at. So that's interesting to me. The 3 Atlas, whatever we're going to call it, is more amazing than the whistleblower stuff because that's got boring. We're stuck with Jeremy. At least Jeremy puts stuff out. I mean, he's not everybody's cup of tea, but hey, he does release stuff. Now he is like the government. He is sitting on tons of videos, and he releases them strategically when it's good for his ratings and it's good for engagement. I mean, he's not just going to say, here's 24 videos, and put it all like I would do. I'm not a good marketer. That's why I don't have tens of thousands of subscribers and all that shit, because I just put it out there, Hey, Gobstop, it's good to see you. Where do you live? You watch all my stuff, and I'm not sure where you're at. I know you're not in the U.S., but thanks for catching a live show. It's always national security. Yeah, when it comes to Congress and all that, cool. It's unprecedented that they're doing it. But one thing you can look at is they're all noobs. Everybody who talks about this, you never heard of their name until they started saying UFO, Epstein, JFK, and the like. And then all of a sudden, they're famous. Like, Eric Burleson could never get on News Nation because they'd be like, what do you want to talk about? And he could be, I don't know, the budget. That's boring. Fuck off. How about aliens? Oh, okay. We'll send a reporter to your location right now. We'll get Ross Coulthard on the phone. So if a congressperson wants to start, and they're poor, they haven't done their insider trading yet, they're not a millionaire, they get in, they start talking about the government can't keep secrets. I'm going to bring them out. I'm going to undo all this, right? And they get all this attention, and UFO podcaster, not me, but they eat this shit up, man. They hang on every fucking word of these people, and then they disappear, right? What happened to Mark Rubio? No interest. What happened to what happened to the other guy from Tennessee? He got kicked in the stomach by a horse, right? He ain't talking about it. Paulina Luna is cycling out. Now we have Eric Burleson. Pretty soon there'll be another person take that person's position once they get famous enough and they get their insider training. You know, none of them have a clear objective. None of them. I'll be interested when they say, well, we want to get all this up. No, you're not going to get them to release anything. How about one thing? Go in with one thing and say, you know what? I'm here to get the full gimbal video out. Everything. The radar, or I'm here to get the tic-tac and all the radar data out. I want to get this to Avi Loeb or some experts that can look at this radar, and they can look at these things going from 60,000 feet to 10,000 feet in 7/8 of a second. Have an objective. Get something done. If you're coming in there saying, we're going to get... Eric said stuff is coming. Oh, good. Shit's coming. That's good. Get a fucking objective, Eric. To say, I want to get X done. Get that done. Then say, okay, we got one thing done. I did that with Sedona. I want to figure out what was flying in and out of these mountains. No helicopters. I'm going to move on to the next item. Do that. And when they talk about getting somebody in a skiff, that's more bullshit. I'll get excited when they start subpoenaing people. When they start saying, we have subpoenaed all these people's names that you've never heard of because they work in the crash retrieval program. They were inside of UFOs, physicists. When they start subpoenaing people that work at Lawrence Livermore Laboratory, Sandia National Laboratory, when they start subpoenaing these scientists and having them appear and testify, then it'll be interesting. Until then, it's just theater. That's all it is. All right. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. Don't believe me. Just do your own research. And then, you know, in the news, a little bit more talk about this. J.D. Vance, Vice President for right now of the United States, is coming out saying he's a UFO nut. And you know what? That is a good distraction. Right now, everybody's stepping on Trump's dick because of Epstein, and he can't get Epstein off the news. I was thinking, if you want to put out a distraction, the president can do that thing we're all waiting for, saying, I'm the president, fellow Americans, we're not alone. And that'll be the big distraction everybody will be talking about. The government lied for 80 years, aliens are real, this, and it'll be a whole different ballpark, and no one will talk about Epstein Island anymore. And J.D. Vance is sort of doing this, you know, saying he's going to look into it, but watch. All he has to do is talk to Rubio, Mark Rubio, and that woman with the white hair. It looks like she was a stunt double from the Avengers or whatever. Tulsi Gibbard, whatever, the DNI director, she knows. She has the ability to be read into this stuff. All he has to do is make a phone call and say, I'm vice president. I supersede you. I've classified, read into everything. What the fuck's going on with UFOs? Going on a podcast and talking about it, it's kind of a waste of time because he could figure it all out before he even got on a podcast. He could start looking at the videos. He could start being Lou Elizondo, for instance. Read his book. He didn't have the classification level of the vice president, but he still got to see the Roswell stuff. So there you have it. When they start subpoenaing people from these labs in New Mexico, when they start doing that, then it's time to get excited. Until then, it's just bench warming. They're just doing the appearance that something is being done, but nothing gets accomplished. Nothing. So yeah, that kind of wraps this up. Shit, hours have flown by. I'm curious. Have you ever met a guy who was a witness in Phoenix Lights who said his dad saw the main craft there, a video on YouTube, a digital? Not sure who that is. Man, leave your comments. Drop who that is in the comments below this, and I'll look into it. I know about everybody or somebody here in the valley. If I made friends or pissed them off yet, they know who I am. Now, Truth Seeker, if I go to Area 51, what is the best piece of equipment other than... why do I always have everything sitting here? I within reach of this P900. But, you know, I got its big brother. Isn't this as good as a 10-inch telescope? I mean, it's small, it's compact. To hump a telescope up the side of Tikaboo Peak would be... That'd be Timberjet. Yeah, Timberjet is the guy. Yeah, Timberjet, he lost interest. I think they show him a little bit, and then they say, look, man, this isn't going anywhere. What I think is Lockheed cuts them a check, and they shut up. Lockheed, Northrop, one of them, Raytheon, says, here's your check. No, be quiet. Tim Lee, yeah. Tim Lee, great man. Sadly, he has passed. But his son is on Facebook. I can't remember his name, but his son's on Facebook if you want to look him up. So he saw it too. He's the one who could throw a tennis ball at the boomerang that flew over. I never met those guys. I did meet Tim. Here's a little bit of behind the scenes. Tim Lee always wore that leather vest. Tim Lee was friends with Dr. Michael Tanner and Jim Delatesso before the Phoenix Lights. They knew each other. They were just friends. I heard they used to trip acid. They're boomers, so they did their share of acid and ate all that stuff back in the 70s and stuff. UK. Oh, cool. Man, UK's an interesting place. I'd love to visit there someday. Yeah, they might have given Tim a check. That's what I think. I mean, if they say, hey, you need to shut up about this, then he can go on a podcast and say, hey, I was told to shut up about it. But if they say shut up when you're like, well, how much is that check? Okay. Almost everyone can be bought. Almost everyone. Year 5,000. I'll have to talk to you more about that. Yeah, follow Truth Seeker on Twitter. Same name, same company. He got me down this rabbit hole of radar, but not going to really comment too much about what's going on with the radar. It's not for sale. My guitars are on eBay, and about $7,000 for those if somebody wants to buy them. Mushrooms, yeah. I've heard a lot of people have ate mushrooms and tried to meet the aliens. I don't think that works. I heard DMT is the thing, and DMT is, I don't even know what that is. It's like root or something, and you eat it, and then I guess you're really high for like 15 minutes, and then it goes away, which is probably the preferable way, because if you do the acid, you're gone for the rest of the day, and it's a different thing. I never really heard of people meeting aliens on acid, but that shroom or that DMT, people say they're waiting for you. The aliens are like, God damn, what took you so long to get this DMT? And then something like that, or something. There's something there. I have no idea. They don't sell DMT at the dispensary yet. They probably do where Terry Hall lives. Where Terry Hall lives, you can buy fucking dynamite, man. I mean, up there, everything is legal. So some type of trip up to Rachel is probably on the radar next for my radar as far as plans. Just be fun to go up there again. I like doing road trips too. It's fun to get the fuck out of here. If anyone wants to do one and it's too hot to get out of here, I'm thinking October. You can't do it too late because it snows there and it gets really cold. So I don't want to do it when it's freezing. I don't want to freeze my butt off skywatching up there. I probably want to do maybe a 2-day skywatch, all day and all night, and then probably some of the next day. And probably rent a truck, go up there, and then use e-bikes, use some electric mountain bikes to get in farther. Probably the plan. So it's going to wrap up here. But yeah, it'd be cool to see somebody on a live cam do DMT and to see if the aliens show up. Chris Leto apparently he did mushrooms on a podcast and tripped out, then freaked out, and then deleted it. And Chris Leto's like real straight. He's like a guy I don't think he's ever drank. He looks like a dude who's never drank one beer or smoked a cigarette. Like the all American type motherfucker. You know, would easily pass a security background, where with me they would just look at me and no, we're not getting into Area 51. You're not gonna fly a jet, Tom. Got a big mouth. All right, so there's some weird thing they released on these chats with different numbers. YouTube came out. I don't know what the hell it is. I saw it earlier on a Martin Willis chat. And that's going to wrap up this episode of 4K Skywatching. Yeah, it's been fun. So I don't know what's going to happen next week. More stuff. No more trips for a bit, but Area 51 is on the radar. Everything went to hell in Sedona, so that was cool. So want to just do a quick shout Larry Potter. You've been around for a while. Thanks for coming in. Marcus, thanks for being a supporter of the channel. Shonda Wood could have been. Shonda woulda coulda been. Interesting name. Yeah, thanks for coming to a new supporter on there. We had Dan, Helicopter Dan was in here, and yeah, thanks for that super chat. And of course, Truth Seeker, the man seeketh the truth. That's what we all are as truth seekers, whether it's good or bad. We just don't want to hear the aliens are all good or the aliens are bad. They got to be like us. They're people. Everybody's out trying to survive, keep themselves alive, and they're in it for themselves. Elephant Strahd, good to see you. Been a fun podcast. Marcus is in here in Gomstop. Saw you. Thanks for coming in from the UK. It's probably nighttime there. And yeah, we'll probably see you guys on Doom Scrolling on X. I'm Tom King. This is 4K Skywatching. We'll see you on episode 33.